And joining us right now here on Gateway 97.8 is the star of the 2016 edition of The Apprentice, and he should tell us a bit more about saving. He's also award-winning businessman Paul Sullivan. Welcome, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, Aston. How you doing?
You two look so professional with your gear on. I must get some headwear, maybe with some diamonds coming off it. Quite nice. Oh, so thanks for coming on, Paul. Did you make any New Year's resolutions?
Did I make any? I did actually. Yeah. So one of my things is like I'm constantly educated, right? I'm always trying to kind of learn more, be better at what I do, understand everyone else's perspectives, and I've been doing that for too long. And what I've neglected was my health, right? So I burnt out like several times last year. And so this year I was like, look, actually in the field that I work in, I'm actually considered to be at the forefront of it. So I'm taking a 3-month hiatus from education, and I'm just going to concentrate on just chilling out a little bit more, getting back into like my diet, good habits, and getting into the gym. So that was my New Year's resolution for myself.
So important. It was something, you know, when I was hairdressing, I was told I was burning out, and I just thought, what are they talking about? You know, I was waking up at 3 in the morning and doing hairdos and going on television, and then working till 9 at night. I thought, what are they talking about? You know, it's just hard work. But
yeah,
it is really, and it did eventually. I burnt out, and I got quite ill from it. You know, it's just really interesting point there.
I think it's because when you're really passionate about something that you do, you find it hard to put the brakes on. And if you're kind of entrepreneurial minded with that, you see another opportunity and then another opportunity, and then you want to work that. And then all of a sudden you can get into this mindset of no one does it like me. And so therefore I need to do it all. And before long, you just run out of energy because you burn the candle at both ends.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, so the kind of thing I was brought up, I had a paper round, I had a milk round, and I was brought up with a work ethic. So I kind of felt I was doing good when I was working, rather than keeping it sensible.
I can totally relate. I mean, my first job was, I was 12 or 13, and it was a Saturday job in Roman Road Market in East London. And I used to get up and work on this stall that sold electrical goods. And, you know, as a Saturday job, I think I got paid like £10 for the day at the time, which now I wouldn't even get out of bed for. But at the time, it gave me some sort of sense of like achievement, right? It was like mine. And I used to love going into the bank after and putting a little £10 into the savings account, and then go back and show my mum that, look, I've put the money away. But yeah, I mean, these are the things that shape us, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And you became a dad quite recently, Paul, as well. How do you teach your children about saving here?
I think my daughter's probably got like £1,500 in savings already, and obviously that's not her doing it. But I felt like, given how I was brought up, you know, I was one of 3, and we weren't like rich by any means of the word, and so pocket money and savings wasn't really something you got on a regular basis. There wasn't like we got £5 every Saturday and we put £2 away or anything like that. And so, you know, I feel like given the circumstances, it can be hard to actually encourage children to save. But what I can do is put that sort of stuff in place for Sloane, and she has that. And I put £100 a month away, and her mum puts £100 a month away. And the way we see that is that this world is just not affording people the ability to save. I mean, you know, some people like literally going to like food banks, and even if you're like you've got a half decent job and you could be a single parent, and still like that struggle is real. You've got to put food on the table and stuff like that. So savings, whilst I can make the hay, I'm going to do it most certainly. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Something's better than nothing, right? And I think
of course,
it's just trying to make sure that you get that good balance between saving and education, because just having money in the bank to kids, it's money. You know, I've got thousands or hundreds or whatever that looks like, and they don't really have any context or value to that. And so, you know, they just see stuff. You know, everyone's got kids, and oh, mum, I want that, or I want this, and I want that, and it's like that's how it works. And we're like, oh, you know, you've got £500 worth of PlayStation kit there or whatever it looks like. I mean, I'm not going to buy that, but yeah, I just feel like making them have value to money from an early age is really important. And I think a lot of my friends even have kind of come from a background similar to me, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna, my kids are not gonna have to do chores and all this stuff. And I'm like, actually, you should let them do that, because that, the money for activity is a good way to kind of get them their sense into, oh, if I do something, there's a reward. And I think that is really what saving for them should be about. It's not, they don't get the context of having a big bank account. It's going to be brilliant for the future. Or it's just numbers. But if you can show the reward, I think that's what we're looking for.
Everyone should do some kind of chore of some kind, at least at home anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you talk a lot about strategy in business, but then listen, what is, how do you describe strategy in business?
Okay, so the strategy is the idea of like where you want to take your business, like where do we want to go, and then obviously is what do you need to do to execute to get to that end goal. So then you can start working back, right? And we've just set a financial strategy for the business for this year. We've looked at the headcount, we've done all these things, and we have to say, right, based on this is where we are today, we know that we need to speak to X number of people, which results in a conversation. And of those conversations, these number of people will go to having more of an exploratory call. Yeah. And from that, a small percentage of those will convert into closed won business. And so, there could be strategy for anything. It could be a brand reach strategy. It could be to build if you're a small 1-person, 2-person brand, maybe you say, well, one of us needs to be the business. And so what do we need to do to build, brand equity with people? And I know, Stephen, you're really good at that. You're really visible and you're good at being public. But I'm not so good at being public. Funnily enough, even though I went on TV and done all this stuff.
I'm skipping questions here, but I have to say I genuinely should be a multi-millionaire with all the ideas and things I put together and helped other people. I am just I would just have to describe, as I said, money goes in my pocket and it goes straight out. I'm just useless at saving. I'm useless at. I also have a habit of being rubbish at business as I end up doing things for, and that's why I've taken an agent on this year, because I'm dreadful. What do creative people? What can they actually do to stop this? Because a lot of my other creative friends as well have created things that have not made them money, made other people money.
I think a lot of people don't really know how to set boundaries. And that's the truth of it. Like I don't like the term people pleaser, because it insinuates someone's got no backbone at all. But a lot of people find it hard to say no. And what happens is people take advantage of that. So that you could be like maybe quite new as a videographer or a photographer, and some people go, oh, come and do this, and you can use it in your portfolio. And I've really changed my mind on working with people that do that. And I understand that, depending on maybe where you are in your journey, this is acceptable, but it should never be unpaid. And I really just distance myself from people that feel like, they've got some sort of celebrity. And because of that, you should be grateful that you can take photos of me, because everyone's got to put food on the table. Yeah. So for me, you need to start understanding the value, right? Stephen, how long have you been or how long were you cutting hair, just off chance?
Oh, well, I've cut hair, but almost, my God, I'm so old. About 36 years.
Okay, right. So for 36 years worth of talent,
you
should have been paid for 36 years worth of talent, even if the haircut took you half an hour, right? Because they're paying for your ability to do that in that shorter time, or go and sit in someone else's chair for 3 hours. Let them do it and maybe see what happens at the end, right? So there is a consequence for using less experienced people. And so the value is in your actual ability to deliver something in maybe a tight market, or the length of time you have of tenure within a particular kind of creative, whether you're an artist, whether you're a stylist, whether you're a hairdresser, whatever that is. Just always put value on your time. And the best way to do that is to say, right, how much am I worth an hour? Or what do I want to be worth an hour?
Yeah.
Because if someone then comes in, you say, right, I want to set myself at £45 an hour. Yeah. If you've always got that, what your hourly rate is in your head, you can say, right, that haircut's going to cost me 3 hours of my time. So I've got to travel there. I've got to get there. They've got to use my products. Yeah. And so the basis you kick off with is £135 an hour. Yeah. And then you add your extras on, and that's what the total cost of that job should be.
Absolutely.
And 2016, Paul, you appeared on our TV screens on The Apprentice. And sorry, I have to bring this up here, Paul, but are you going to be watching this year's Apprentice, which kickstarts this Thursday, this new series?
I'll be honest, I haven't really watched The Apprentice since. It's a hard one. I can't say I didn't enjoy myself, but I think what I found out is there's a process within The Apprentice that it's a people process really. It's not the show, it's the people, and they do really well to put people together that are obviously going to cause the conflict, because no one wants to sit and watch people be good at work chores for 12 weeks of the year, because that's boring, right? Right? That's not going to be fun for anyone. So I tend to take note of what's going on, and I dive in and out. But most certainly, I don't really sit on social media and engage with the audience and do all that. Yeah. And I think I wrote something recently about like my thoughts on how you get through it, because it's really good. But I'm going to say this, and I don't mean any disrespect to the show. It doesn't matter what you see of the people on the TV, because what actually happens is the edit of the show needs to marry up with why that person gets sacked, right? You can't just, if someone was really good and then all of a sudden they got sacked because they've done one thing that maybe half the public didn't think was actually worth sacking for, but they get sacked anyway, that would cause uproar, right? So always remember that they're building a story. There's like roughly 100 hours of footage for each episode that gets edited down into that 1 hour, and 35, 40 minutes of that is task, and the rest of it is in the boardroom. So, it's even 35 minutes of 100 hours worth of time. So when you think people making really bad decisions, I wouldn't always go along with that. But yeah.
Do you think it's had its day?
No, I don't. But I feel like what the challenge is now is you've got so many reality TV shows, and actually what really sells, as we know, is like sex and confrontation. That's really what the public want to see, right? And it doesn't necessarily always bode well. I got some serious trolling after The Apprentice, and I actually had someone from Liverpool wanted to come down to London and beat me up or something. I just remember this guy, and I was like, this is really crazy. This is a TV show, and no one's really what they think.
Yeah, we were saying it'd be nice if they jazzed it up a bit and brought some kind of like working class people into it that hadn't been to university or hadn't had sort of. There seemed to be. It seems to have a set mold. It'd be nice to break the mold a little bit, I think.
I mean, look, I didn't go to university at all, so I didn't even finish my A levels, and I walked straight into a job at JP Morgan. So I think Tom, someone from Essex.
Tommy Skinner, you on about?
That's right. Yeah, Tommy Skinner. I don't think he went to university either. He's like a good viewing. But also, I think you're right. It shouldn't be tokenism. But at the same time, degrees, the accessibility to degrees these days is very widespread, right? It's going to be pretty difficult unless you choose not to follow that path to not find anyone with degrees. Yeah. But I think. Listen, it's still good watching, right? It's still like you can come home after a hard day's of work and think there's someone out there that's worse at their job than me, and you can sit there and feel good about yourself for that.
What makes me laugh is the heights they go up in those elevators. I don't think I could get up the elevator because I can't do heights.
That's only on the interview process, Stephen, not on the not in the early stages, though.
That would be a challenge to me. And of course, there are programs like Traitors that's become so big now, the reality show that had so many in it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think, I don't like a lot of reality TV shows. I definitely don't sit there and watch like Love Island and all this stuff. It's not really engaging my brain. I definitely don't lock off to that kind of TV viewing. But what it does show is that there's something for everyone in reality TV. And I feel like the one thing that The Apprentice gives that the others don't is this sense of like, there's someone out there that's worse at their job than me. And that gives you a sort of sense of relief midweek, right?
So, and obviously social media and business, how important is it there, Paul?
Okay, so this is a really interesting question because the social media channel you use has to be the right outlet for for what you want to achieve, right? So Stephen asked a strategy question. If you are in a B2B business that sells like high value products, it's hardly likely that you want to go and try and build a brand on Instagram, right? Instagram for itself is really good for e-commerce brands and stuff like that, because it's like it's deep reach, it's low cost decision making. So 100 quid, 200 quid for an item. Most people who are going to buy something, a jacket, a shirt, pair of jeans, they go and do that, right? If you want to kind of build like a business profile, you'd go into maybe Twitter, definitely LinkedIn, and even as a B2B business now, we're starting to think about TikTok, right? And I'm definitely not a TikTok person, but
I can't get TikTok.
It's apparently like the third biggest search engine after Amazon and Google now. So you got to say, well, strategically, there's people on there that I could probably reach that would be my audience. And some of these people are going on there, and within a week they've got millions of followers. So again, I come back to what I said earlier. I'm not great at putting myself out there. You ask me to get on stage and talk to 5,000 people about work, I'll do it, and I wouldn't even think about it. You want to start with me trying to put myself out there? It's a different kettle of fish for me at all.
A lot of people employ people to do that for them. Like you said, they have social media people within companies that do nothing but social media.
It's a full-time job, and when people, honestly, I don't want to blow anyone up in my industry, but when you see people say, look, I can do your social media for 150 quid a month or whatever it is, I just look at that and I think, well, like, what is your hourly rate, and how many hours are you actually going to do for me this month? And what do I think I'm going to get for that? Because, for some people, £150 could be a lot in terms of their marketing budget. But actually, if you then say, well, hang on a minute, this person said they're going to do like a month's worth of work for me for £150, probably works out to about £3 a day. What sort of work do you think you're going to get for that budget? I always feel like it's easier for you to just start. And this is what we're getting to even in the B2B world now. It's like, look, don't worry about perfection, because until you find out who's engaging with you, you don't know what content they want. So start with the content that you feel you want to project for the audience you're trying to attract, and then let your audience tell you by their engagement what's working for them and what isn't.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's great advice.
It's good advice, has to be said. Is there anything you do for fun, Paul, as well, on the quiet?
What do I do for fun? I mean, I used to say I like going gym, and I've been doing that for a long time. But I like sports. I do like to binge watch on Netflix as well. I like things like The Witcher, a little bit of science fantasy and stuff like that. Play a bit of golf. Used to play football. I mean, if you'd asked me this 10 years ago, I was into boxing, karate, kickboxing, all that sort of stuff. Now I'm a parent. I'm like, is sleep available to me?
most parents say that to me.
Oh my God, she's just started sleeping through the night, and it has been bliss. But prior to that, I was like sleep deprived. Felt like I've been in sort of locked up and kept away from everyone, and you just get going to automatic motions. But this year is definitely more, as I said, this first quarter of the year, a bit more fitness, a bit more getting back to what I like doing. But yeah, as I said, I constantly read. I probably buy 2 or 3 books a month. I still like the fact that I can read and thumb through something. I'm not great at trying to read off the internet. I don't sit up for hours on YouTube with the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I know some people like it, but yeah.
Well, listen, can we just say congratulations on becoming a dad? And
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We'd love
Thanks for having me.
How can people find you?
People can find me. The easiest way to do is www.biasdigital.com, BIAS digital.com, and all of the social media is at Digital Bias London, LDN for London.
Right. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
No worries. Thanks, Aston. Thanks, Stephen. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.